Hi everyone, good evening. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. And in today's video, we'll be starting with a new video series, which will be solely based on Docker. So right now, I'm aiming towards launching the series for Docker for beginners, but eventually I'll be adding some intermediate to advanced topics as well by the end of this series. Okay. Before we start with the series, I would like to tell you that it is more of theoretical plus practical based video series. So in some of the videos, I'll be first explaining about the theory, okay, and in the some of the videos, I'll be practically implementing those the definitions or whatever I have told in some of the videos. Okay, so the theory videos will be quite small because I have already maintained the notes. So I'll be just reading and explaining it to them. Okay, explaining it to you. So without wasting any more time, let's just start with what is Docker. Okay, so this is a definition that you can see anywhere in the Google or anywhere in the Docker documents as well, documentations as well. So yeah, Docker is an open source platform for developing, shipping, and running applications. Okay, it separates your application from the current infrastructure, so you can develop software quickly. Okay, and the third thing, it reduces time between writing code and deploying it on production. Okay, so I'll explain these 3 points very carefully. Okay, so okay, that's it to me. Okay, so this is my system. Okay, and I have multiple stuff running on it. So how system is defined is by 3 steps: hardware, OS kernel, and application. So OS kernel interacts with hardware and application interacts with OS kernel. Okay, so OS kernel can be of any operating system. It can be of Windows, Ubuntu, or any of the uh, like versions of the Ubuntu as well. Okay, so what Docker does is ki, as I said, ki it is an open source platform for developing, shipping, and running application, and it separates our application from the current infrastructure, so you can develop software quickly. Okay, so in this application, we have multiple stuff installed. So it can be Python, it can be Redis, it can be Postgres, or whatnot. Okay, SQL or whatnot. So what Docker helps in doing is ki in this current infrastructure, so let's call it infrastructure. So in this current infrastructure, Docker operates on the application layer, and it completely separates our program or software from the existing infrastructure. So what will happen is ki our infrastructure, like whatever applications we already have, it will keep on running as they are supposed to, and by side of it there will be another container running, okay, which will be of Docker. So in this container you can install a different version of Python, like Python 2. Okay, well, nobody uses it, like it is not nobody, it is not that much used now. Okay, so like Python 3.6, or like someone is using Nginx over here, or like instead of Postgres I'm using MongoDB over here. Okay, so apart from everything, there's another like container that is existing alongside our infrastructure, which is operating independently. Okay, and all of this is done in the application layer, not on the application plus OS kernel layer. So I'll be explaining that in the later lectures as well. So yeah, it reduces time between writing code and deploying it on production. So when we have everything set up with ourselves, like with us, so there will be a very minimized time to complete the entire thing and run the code in production as well, because it is Docker makes the deployment of your code very easy and quick. Okay, so now we'll be talking about components of Docker. Okay, so Docker have like total of 8 components, like which are Docker daemon, client, Docker image, Docker registry, network, compose, container, and Docker CLI. Okay, so what Docker daemon is, uh, okay, so I think I missed this was, yeah. So Docker daemon is the background process that manages entire Docker containers, images, network, and the storage volumes. Okay, so whatever Docker is doing and whatever is running in the background, it is a Docker daemon. Okay, I think it is pronounced as daemon, but I'm not sure, to be honest. Okay, next, Docker client. So Docker client is a interface that allows us to interact with the daemon and Docker daemon, and create and manage the Docker images, uh, containers, and the network. Okay. Okay. So Docker client is a interface that allows us to communicate with the Docker daemon. Okay. Uh, so if this is okay, I think I can remove this part. Okay. Okay, so if this is our daemon, okay, and this is the user, so this is the Docker, uh, yeah, Docker client only. So this is the client. So we interact with daemon using the Docker client. Okay. Next is Docker image. So Docker image is nothing but a template which is in a read-only format that contains the sets of instruction and files that will be used to build a Docker container. Okay, so image can be defined as a manual to install a particular application. Okay, yeah, that's it. It's an manual to instruction manual to how to install an application in your system, Docker system. Okay. Now next, Docker registry. So yeah, it is a simple repository for storing and sharing the Docker images. Okay. Next, Docker container. Why? Yeah. So yeah, Docker network is the virtual network that uh, allows the Docker containers to communicate with the host system. Okay, so host system will be the your own system, and the containers will be the component of the Docker in which our application is running. Okay, next is Docker Compose. It is just a tool that will allow us to define and run multiple containers in a Docker application. Okay. Next is Docker container. It is nothing, just the running instance of the image. Okay. So as I told her, that image is a template or a manual instruction to install a application. Okay, so whenever the image is run using a Docker, then it is stored in a container, and that container will store the instance of that application in a running state. Okay, when you stop that container, that application will also stop running, and that container will automatically will be the stop state. Okay, next is Docker CLI. So Docker CLI, as suggested, as the name suggests, it is a command line interface that allows user to interact with the Docker daemon. Okay, so if I want to start a container or stop a container, I can use Docker stop and the container name. This is the command, CLI command, to stop a container. To start a container, it will be Docker start and then the container name. We will talk about all the CLI commands in the next coming lectures as well. So don't need to worry. Okay, so yeah, this is it about what is Docker, and I have explained few of the components of Docker as well. So yeah, this is like minimalistic definition for the Docker and its component, and yeah, that's it. So yeah, actually I hope you like this video, and if there is any issues or any doubts, please do mention them in the comments. Okay, and yeah, please do subscribe to my channel and share this with the people who like really want to learn the Docker. Uh, yeah, and please, yeah, do subscribe to my channel. It will motivate me to make such more relatable contents as well. Yeah, thanks. So by that time, have a very great evening, and bye. Good night.